To the Franklin Commuter Rail station of the MBTA. My name is Ryan Coholan. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the MBTA. And while the weather is not the fairest, we're obviously robust, rough and tough New Englanders. We can deal with some rain, a little bit of wind. But first off, some thank yous are due, certainly. We want to thank the Healy-Driscoll administration for their leadership and commitment to public transportation and the importance of improving accessibility all across the MBTA. Also want to thank General Manager and Interim Secretary of Transportation Philip Eng for his commitment to enhancing this station. Special thank you to the Massachusetts Housing Secretary, Mr. Ed Augustus, State Senator Rebecca Rausch, who secured $50,000 for the public art we see on the station. We'll have a little bit more on that in a bit. Yes. Also, State Representative Jeffrey Roy, Franklin Town Administrator Jamie Helen, and Chairperson from the Franklin Disability Commission, Ali Rayum. The MBTA remains committed to identifying, funding, designing, and constructing stations with full-length high-level platforms as part of our long-term accessibility goals. While those long-term projects are underway, we're always looking for interim solutions that make sense. These solutions provide meaningful improvements here and now today while we work on the permanent solutions for the future. And one example of a solution like that is the installation of this mini-high platform behind me. Now, for those unfamiliar with the purpose of a mini-high platforms are approximately 50 to 60 feet in length, and they provide level boarding from the platform directly onto the train. And what we've been able to do at several locations, we've been able to construct these platforms using repurposed materials from various state projects, and this helps us quickly and efficiently deploy these accessibility solutions here and now. This mini-high platform here in Franklin, along with West Medford and Walpole, were complete this past March, and only a portion of a larger effort to improve accessibility across the MBTA system. I'm very fortunate to have some excellent colleagues at the MBTA who notice when there's an issue in our system, and they take action to work hard to find solutions as soon as possible. I want to thank Laura Brailsford, the MBTA's Assistant General Manager for System-Wide Accessibility, and the entire System-Wide Accessibility team. I also want to thank the Capital Delivery Project team who made sure this project came to completion. Maribel Kelly, Deputy Chief of Capital Delivery, Ted Banks, Senior Project Manager, and from Keolis Commuter Services, their Chief of Engineering and Facilities, Mr. Dale McGuire. The MBTA right now is more accessible than it's ever been in history, and each project, whether big or small, brings us closer to that 100% accessibility. I want to thank the town of Franklin, its residents, and all the community members and advocates who showed patience during the construction, more importantly, enthusiasm for the completion and the return of ridership to our commuter rail system. Also want to take a moment to thank Corey Shea, Franklin's Director of Arts, Culture, and the Creative Economy, who helped select Franklin resident and mural artist, Kayla Nisbet. That was all through a community advisory group, and it's with that community partnership that we're able to look at this beautiful station here today. Kayla helped beautify the station, certainly very welcoming as soon as you're around the corner into the parking lot. And we're really happy at the MBTA to see any community take the level of pride and ownership that we see here in Franklin. Overall, there's more work ahead, and we're proud to continue moving forward with you. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce State Senator Rebecca Rausch.
Oh, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Well, it's a wonderful moment of camaraderie when we meet in such lovely weather as this. But it is a real pleasure to be with all of you. Thank you, Ryan, for your work, and thank you in advance to Secretary Augustus, who will be here shortly, to all of the amazing distinguished guests behind me, and I see many more in front of me, so it's wonderful to be with all of you. And it's a particular pleasure and privilege to be here to celebrate the improvements to Franklin's commuter rail station, particularly both the accessibility platform and this mural and beautiful shining example of public art. Both of these things, I think, really uniquely celebrate Franklin's unique history in a state full of stories and characters. Celebrating this new elevated platform, this mini high, I believe is the technical term, that allows stair-free and level boarding is so important as it continues to increase accessibility and opportunity for train passengers in Franklin and beyond. Building this platform breaks down barriers to public transportation. This station is safer and more welcoming for residents and visitors. And next year, in particular, we'll be welcoming a lot of people to this area, celebrating the 250th anniversary, the World Cup coming here, and many more things. Woo! Yeah, woo! That's fantastic. And many more things that make this region so special each and every year. We also know that when our public transit is accessible, it means Massachusetts reinforces the message that we are an open, engaging, and welcoming place for everyone. I also want to take a moment to celebrate this, a different kind of public art. This public infrastructure is incredibly important, both for people with disabilities and also for parents with young children. Myself, I remember many moments of trying to lift a double stroller onto the commuter rail at various I see people laughing around in the crowd. It's a trip and an adventure to try to do it. I always depended on the kindness of strangers to help me make that happen in order to get myself and my 2 young children on the train safely, and this is just such a game changer. So I want to thank everyone who had anything at all to do with making this mini high platform happen. It's critical infrastructure, and I also think that the art here that we see on this station, on the building, is also a critical piece of infrastructure, because this is the kind that gives us a splash of color and beauty and wind. So I want to take a moment to thank Kayla Nisbet for the incredible time and energy that you put into this mural. It is a beautiful celebration of Franklin's history that really beckons us forward as a community. And I love that it celebrates one of Franklin's big claims to fame, the first public library in the entire United States. I have to just say, I love libraries. I love them. I have professed this love many, many, many times, and I will profess it as many times as I can. And it is particularly important to say how much we love and celebrate libraries right now, as cuts to libraries are happening drastically from the federal government. In Massachusetts, some of these cuts have resulted in the loss of access to 30 of 34 research and resource databases. They're just gone because the money for the subscriptions are gone. And that is a very serious and real loss. So I want to take a moment again to uplift this art, to uplift books and learning and celebrating community. And I was particularly proud to partner with my good friend and amazing colleague, Representative Roy, to secure funding for many of these pieces, including the public art that we see in front of us. So thank you again to Kayla. Thank you to the Cultural Council. Thank you to the Art Association. And I'm so glad to be here to celebrate with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator. And ladies and gentlemen, do want to recognize Massachusetts Housing Secretary Ed Augustus has joined us here. And so without further ado, it's my privilege to introduce Representative Jeffrey Roy.
Well, thank you, Ryan, and good morning to everyone, and thank you for coming out in a rainstorm. I think the last time we did a transportation-related event was a snowstorm when we opened the SNET Trail, so that's what it means for transportation. But I have to tell you, it's truly an honor to be here today as we celebrate the ribbon cutting for these great improvements at this station. It represents more than concrete, steel, and construction, and the ramp in particular represents access, independence, and inclusion for all members of our community. Now, back when in 2014, a group of concerned citizens gathered at this very spot to discuss improvements at the stations, including accessibility and ADA compliance. and that led to the development of a master plan. And I know in April of 2019, the MBTA issued a 20-year plan to make the entire system accessible through its Access in Motion campaign. And I want to thank the MBTA for doing that and following through and bringing this here to Franklin in 2025. And this platform is a testament to that philosophy. For years, residents of Franklin, especially those living closest to the station, were frustrated that they could not board the train here. They had to travel to other communities just to access public transportation. And I particularly remember Franklin resident and former chair of the Disability Commission, Mary O'Neill. She spoke up, and that sparked another chain of action led by the Franklin Commission on Disability, who partnered with the MBTA, Keolis, and local leaders to finally make this process happen. And I want to especially thank Ali Rayum, who you will hear from shortly. From raising the issue at a community gathering, to researching the history of the station, to writing letters, attending meetings, and keeping the communication alive, Allie helped make today possible, and she exemplifies how one person's advocacy can ripple outward to create change for the entire community. Have to thank the town administrator, Jamie Helen, the Franklin Commission on Disability, my colleagues in the legislature, including Senator Spilka and Senator Roush. Senator Spilka did represent this community up until 2022. And also want to note that we have secured $2.75 million in bond authorization to make these things a reality. Today we're going to cut a ribbon on some great artwork and some great platform, and we cut that ribbon on opportunity, on independence, and on dignity, and on the freedom for every person in Franklin, regardless of mobility, to access the train and all opportunities that lie beyond this station. So congratulations to everyone involved, and thankfully, so many of you have turned out here today. We have a community of leaders, we have a community of artists, and we have a community of great children. You're proud of your mom, aren't you? All right. Well, thank you all for being here. Thank you for participating in this process, and let's continue to make this a beautiful station, an accessible station, and station that's available to all. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Next up, I'd like to introduce Town Administrator for the Town of Franklin, Mr. Jamie Helen.
Thank you, everybody, and welcome to one of the most memorable days of your entire life, right? As Jeff says, when we were at the SNET Trail 5 years ago, I think many of us have a picture of that day on our walls. It is a memorable day, and today will also be an extremely memorable day. Yes, the weather always makes things memorable, but I hope all of you get an opportunity to go behind me and check out the disability platform and to check out the mural. That's really what today is about. I can't thank everybody enough for all of their hard work on all of this. I think Senator Roush and Rep. Roy have already done a lot of thank yous. I do want to personally thank the town councilors in attendance, Kobe, Ted, and Melanie, for being here, for their incredible support. I want to thank John Restaino and many of the other members of the Franklin Cultural Council who are here. Whoop, whoop. I also want to thank the Cultural District Commission who is here. I see Pandora and a couple folks. Roberta, thank you. And the Franklin Conservation Commission. Roger, why not give them a shout out? What the hell? And the Franklin Historical Commission. Alan Earls and Jan right up here in the front. I think even despite today's seemingly nor'easter, to have everybody be able to come out today on such terrible weather really shows a testament to the commitment that this community has. The last point I'm going to make is when we were inside this train depot, staying a little bit dry before we got soaked, some of the young kids over here were behind the counter. If you go inside, you will see on the chalkboard, Rail Good Coffee was the last business that this building had a tenant. So I'm going to count on Alan and Steve. I'm going to count on the MBTA. We're going to do it here publicly, and everybody in this audience. after this incredibly beautiful mural that Kayla has put up to revitalize this building, to showcase the history of this town, why doesn't everybody out here find a tenant for this building, because the MBTA will allow somebody in here. And earlier when I went in, the kids were behind the counter. I tried to order a hot chocolate and they told me they were sold out. So why don't we find somebody to be in here? And this is, again, despite all the trials and tribulations of the last 5 or 6 years and everything that we go through locally, it's days like this that truly make every single minute of our work worthwhile. So thank you very much for everybody to come out. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Hot chocolate. I mean, today there's plenty of water. Plenty of water. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, next I'd like to introduce the chairperson of the Franklin Commission on Disability, Allie Rayhume.
Good morning, everyone. We all doing okay? All right, awesome. Well, what a great opportunity this is to get to celebrate this brand new, beautiful, mini-high accessible platform for the town of Franklin. Now, prior to this getting built, as mentioned already, so many residents in this very neighborhood were told to just go to another station. However, for those navigating disability, nothing is ever just that easy. Everything takes extra effort and extra energy. So when I heard about this, I knew right away this was crucial to advocate for. Our Franklin Commission on Disability worked effortlessly on evaluating the situation, coming down here to take pictures, talking with members as the train approached, writing letters and sending those letters to Representative Roy and MBTA. We are so grateful that our voices were heard. Representative Roy from day one has supported every step of the way of the project. MBTA and Keolis chose to make this Dean Franklin station a priority for accessibility, which we are so grateful for. They were also extremely creative in their plan for what they were going to build, and let me tell you, I'm even more impressed seeing it actually here in person now. Not only myself, but other members of the community have also already been able to celebrate the success of this platform. There's one lady who lives just down the street, and for the first time ever, she was able to go into the city independently from her apartment using her own power chair and taking the train from this station without having to ask a friend for a ride to a different town. And there was another gentleman who lives down the street who sustained a brain injury, but for the first time ever, he went into Boston because he felt way more confident and comfortable using a ramp instead of having to step up on the train. This is just the beginning of many, many success stories for accessibility and a perfect example of why it matters here in the town of Franklin. My favorite part, as mentioned a little bit already, is how accessibility helps everyone and it harms no one. A ramp helps someone with physical challenges, and it also benefits someone with a rolling suitcase. Visual boards and digital updates, they help someone who may be deaf or hard of hearing, and they also benefit someone who's talking on the phone and wondering when the train's going to show up, and they know exactly how many minutes they have left to talk. And the auditory announcements that happen now are beneficial for someone blind or low vision, and they also help the person who's trying to send some emails before work and can also hear when the train's arriving. So again, this is not just an example of accessibility, but it's also an example of full inclusion. We're not separating the population, we're bringing them together. So particularly on behalf of the Franklin Commission on Disability and the entire community of those who navigate disability, thank you so much to everyone who made this happen. Thank you for Kayla for making it even more beautiful with her mural, and for all of you coming out to celebrate with us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Lots of themes here today. Accessibility, community, pride, spirit. It's what it's all about. And I think our next speaker is someone who certainly everyone here seems very familiar with. Our mural artist, Please welcome Kayla Nisbet.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming out today. It's not the day I thought it would be, but hey, my husband and I got married in the rain, so that worked out. Look it up. Yeah. Okay. Before I tell you about the art, I just want to give a huge thank you to Jamie Helen and Corey Shea. I've said this from the beginning. This was a pinch me project. I can't believe that I got to do this, and thank you for creating this opportunity. Thank you to the MBTA for letting me paint on your building. Thank you to Rebecca Rausch, Senator Rebecca Rausch, and Representative Jeff Roy. And thank you to the Franklin Art Association, the Cultural Council, the Cultural District for helping with this as well. Thank you, last but not least, to my friends and my family, my husband, an artist, Jeff Nisbet, who was my right-hand man in this. Thank you to my 3 kids and coffee shop operators, Henry, Lucy, and Jack. And thank you to my parents, Steve and Deanna Hood, for holding down Fort Nisbet so that I could do this. Now for the mural. This mural celebrates the town of Franklin, our namesake, and as the story goes, the donation of 116 books that Benjamin Franklin gave to our town, which went on to establish America's first public library. As you walk around the mural, you'll see the exact titles that he gave, and I copied some of the original design flourishes and details from the books that are on display at our public library just blocks away. When you put artwork on a building that is empty like this, you see it in a new light. People notice the art, then they notice the town, and a kind of transformation takes place. Care and meaning give way to respect, and then wonder and excitement for what's beyond the mural and beyond the art. I feel so lucky to live in a town that values arts and culture and creates opportunities for artists like this. Big things, yeah. Big things are happening in Franklin, and I'm so lucky to have played a small part in it. This station is truly waiting for its next chapter, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Kayla. So I think we can wait for the rain to stop, or we could get to the point I think that we're all here to do, and that's to open this platform officially and cut this ribbon. Right?